With Donald Trump at the White House, uncertainty is the new normal. In this video, I will tell you exactly what I expect from the market in the short, medium, and long term. Stay until the end of the video because I will share with you exactly the strategies and the analysis. Let's go here to the seasonality page because, as we expected in a previous video, if you go back to this video on our YouTube channel, probably you remember that we said that was really possible to have a new all-time high before to see the market going down. And at the moment, this is exactly what happened because we had the new all-time high, as you can see from the chart. So let's update the analysis and let's start from the seasonality page. Okay. As you can see at the moment, the current year, which is on the chart in pink, is moving with a very high correlation with the last year chart. And this is something really interesting because we have a very high correlation, 90, almost 95%. It means that the current year is moving exactly like it did the last year. And this is something interesting, guys, because we can definitely isolate last year on the chart and we can see what we can expect if we highlight on the chart. Here we are. We can definitely see that if we choose the short option, if the correlation will stay like it's right now, so it's very high, as I told you, we can expect a drop starting from the mid of July, so next week, of almost 7%. And this is something really interesting because, of course, we cannot predict exactly the future and we don't know if it will happen, but we can understand what we can do if this will happen and what will happen to the market once the market will probably drop. Okay? So, as I told you, current year is moving exactly like it did the last year. So, thanks to the correlation, which is very high, we can expect a downward movement starting from exactly the 16 of July. Okay. A short movement which will be close to 8%. This is something interesting, okay? Because even if we add others seasonalities, we can add, for example, the 10-year seasonalities, the 5-year seasonality, the 20-year seasonality. What we can see, it's something really interesting. Because look, of course, and this is normal, we have more odds for a long trade during this exact period, which is between the mid of July until the very beginning of August, because in the long term, as you probably know, stock markets tend to grow. But look it's very interesting is something that if we look at the performance, it's really, really interesting because look, at the moment we have 2.6% with the long option, 3.3% with the long option. If we switch to short, yes, the probability drop, of course, we have 40%, but look at the average return. It grew to 3.6% and 4%. It means something very obvious. It means that if the market will go down, it will go down faster than if it grows. Okay? And this is something really, really interesting because it means that in this specific time window, the probability for an important drop are really high. And if we go back to last year correlation, we can definitely see that the odds for a drop during the month of July and August are really high because the current year is moving exactly like it did last year. And this is something very interesting. If we add another kind of analysis, we can also see here on the overbought and oversold page, we have a confirmation of situation here on the market mood meter. Because look, we have an higher high on the S&P 500 prices, but at the same time, we have on our indicator what we call a divergency. So we have stronger prices, but we have a weakest indicator. And this is exactly what we call divergency. And this is something that tells us that the market have the chance to drop. Okay? So we can expect a drop on the market, yes, but what will happen, fundamentally speaking, if we will experience this drop? Something very interesting, because at the moment on the S&P 500, even if we are on the very top, we still have an undervalued index. This is the S&P 500 in the ranking page, thanks to the fact that we have all the fair value calculated for all the 504 companies that stays inside the S&P 500, we can definitely say that together all the index is undervalued by 8%. If the market will drop by another 8%, we will find a very interesting situation with an undervaluation of 16% that will give us the opportunity to buy a very discounted market. And this is something very interesting, and this is why I really think in the long run we will have the opportunity to buy a very undervalued market. We talked last week about the VIX index. We can go back a little bit because if we go back 20 years with the VIX, only 3 times in the past the VIX went above 50. And the last one was on the last drop on the market in 2025. Every time we had a huge spike like this, a major bull trend started just after the volatility index went from above 50 to below 30. And this is something that happened here in 2008, 2009. It happened here in 2020 after the COVID, and it already happened here in 2025. So this is why I really think we just experienced a major low, a very important low on the S&P 500. This one here in 2025, because the VIX here exactly on this button did a peak, went up and went above 50. And now that the VIX came back below 30, we can definitely say that in this exact point started a very important trend. Okay, so fundamentally speaking, we are talking about an index which is undervalued, even if we are on the tops. Seasonality speaking, we know we can have a drop during the month of July and the very beginning of August. And if this will happen, we will have a major buy point for both medium and long term. This is my analysis for the S&P 500. What do you think, guys? Do you like this analysis? Are you comfortable with analysis? With this analysis, we can also have a look to the COT report. We can have a look to the asset managers and institutional, and they are a little bit shy again at the moment, but they started the asset managers to buy again, to bet long on the market. We do not have the same level of confidence we had in July 2024, but I mean, they are looking very close day by day. They are evaluating day by day. Also, because, as you probably know, if you go here in the home page of the Forecaster terminal and you click on what's going on around the world, the Forecaster AI agent is very clear about the uncertainty situation regarding the tariff. Okay? We all across the globe are waiting to exactly understand what Trump will do with the tariffs, and everything will be clear, I think, during this summer. Okay, so this is why we can really expect everything during this summer. Okay, it's very interesting to see, thanks to the Forecaster AI agent, what is happening all across the globe. But at the moment, the big investors are watching, because every investors all across the globe are waiting, because we have to understand what Trump will do. Okay?